As all the Chaos Gods are, Slaanesh is a manifestation of emotions and actions made into form. She is the embodiment of excess, pain, joy, love, lust, and many other things. Slaanesh is given many names, and its being is interchangeable. For this reason, the Prince of Pleasure may be referred to as male or female. Do not be confused, for the prince is the same as she who thirsts. Slaanesh presents herself in many different ways to many different beings. Many people misjudge Slaanesh and write her off as just the sex and drugs god, but this is far from the truth. You see, while all the Chaos Gods harbor negative emotions, so too do they embody good ones. Khorne may be all about blood and killing, but he is also a symbol of martial pride and honor. Nurgle is disgusting and full of sickness, but he also represents the circle of life and that of nature. Tzeentch embodies horrifying mutations and scheming, but also harbors the pursuit of knowledge and the never-ending flow of change. Slaanesh is no exception. She embodies lust and agony, yes, but so too is she a lover of joy and ecstatic happiness. She is just as powerful when one is performing horrifying debased acts in her name, as someone who is jumping for joy on their wedding day, or a small child opening a gift they've always wanted. Yet where Slaanesh differs from the other Chaos Gods, she is the youngest and was brought into the galaxy in a very peculiar way. Her origins bring us back to the history of the Eldar. The Eldar were once an incredibly powerful race akin to that of gods themselves. Nothing threatened them and they lived in perfect societies. Yet with this perfection brought boredom, and this boredom soon led to decadence. The Eldar grew more and more obsessed with pleasure, so much so that something in the warp began to stir. Eventually, the Eldar became so debased and excessive that they brought birth to a god. We will go more into depth with the Eldar in a future video. The result of their horrid civilization and indulgences brought to creation Slaanesh, the Dark Prince, she who thirsts. This event is named the Fall. It happened in an instant, the excess spilling over into one massive scream of pain and pleasure. Nearly every Eldar in existence was consumed in the blink of an eye, and the rest were left in anarchy and terror. This is what caused the Eldar craft worlds. In desperation, the Eldar fled their homes on planet-sized crafts made of wraithbone called craft worlds. A once noble, all-powerful race reduced to ashes in mere seconds. Since this birth, the Eldar live in constant fear of she who thirsts, for if they die without the proper protections put in place, Slaanesh will devour their soul. Fast forward a few thousand years, and this brings us to the 30th millennium. The Chaos Gods were still in hiding to the Imperium of Man, and very few knew of their existence. While each legion had their own encounter with the Dark Gods, the 3rd Legion, the Emperor's Children, were the first to meet Slaanesh. Their Primarch Fulgrim, a being of perfection and beauty, was exposed to the Dark Prince's powers after he obtained a demonic blade called the Lair Blade. Over time, he and his legion fell to Slaanesh in a horribly tragic tale. Perhaps the most beautiful and noble legion of the Adeptus Astartes fell to depraved madmen obsessed with stimulation. More on them in another entry. Some of the demons of Slaanesh include Demonettes, the common foot soldier and often the demon summoned around mortals in extreme worship, Fiends of Slaanesh, the disturbing monstrous infantry of the demon god's forces, Seekers of Slaanesh, the blinding fast cavalry, Chariots of Slaanesh, ruled by heralds and demonettes, they charge into battle lines with deadly spikes, Heralds of Slaanesh, the field commanders of the Dark Prince, and finally Keepers of Secrets, the most powerful forms of Slaanesh's will. More on all these demons and the special characters of Slaanesh in a different video. Perhaps I've gone off track somewhat. Let's focus more on Slaanesh herself and her realm. The realm of Slaanesh is a place of pure sensory, filled with agony, despair, beauty, joy, and an infinite amount of feelings. It is divided into 6 domains arranged as rings around the Palace of Slaanesh. Each ring must be passed through in order to reach the palace, each holding a series of challenges. The rings are as follows: the Circle of Avidity, the Circle of Gluttony, the Circle of Carnality, the Circle of Paramountcy, the Circle of Vainglory, and the Circle of Indolence. Let us venture through the Dark Prince's realm and discover who he is. Let us begin with the Circle of Avidity. This circle taps into the intruder's greed, presenting riches beyond imagining. As one passes through, they will be tempted with mountains of money, ranges of jewels, and wealth beyond imagining. It is a place of spectacular beauty. The paths made of gemstone and the skies twinkle with diamonds, hovering what feels like just out of reach. Many have climbed the trees made of living gold in vain attempts to gain such diamonds, only to fall and break their bodies. There is always a wonderful breeze of air that makes the grass shimmer with light. The wind brings a beautiful voice, inviting one to take as many riches as they desire. One may always find more room for gold, fitting in one more gemstone or coin. Yet if they were able to break through their greed-filled vision, they could notice bits of bone lying in piles of such gemstones, all that remains of people who are crushed beneath the weight of the riches they took. If one takes even a single coin from this circle, they will be trapped forever, their soul enslaved to the Lord of Desire. Next we pass through the Circle of Gluttony. We are confronted with a vast lake as far as the eye can see, made of beautiful wine. Its scent is indescribably beautiful. Within the lake lie many islands connected by wonderful bridges. There are no cups for the wine, but many give up on such a need as the wondrous scent washes over them, irresistibly drawing them in. The individual will dunk themselves into the lake, feeling pure ecstasy through their indulgent intoxication. Most drink for so long that they sink within the lake and drown, never to leave its grasp. Yet if one raises themselves from the wine before losing themselves, they will see hunched giants holding up the beautiful islands. The islands are home to the most delicious food one can imagine. Exotic meats, perfectly ripened fruits, fresh bread, and so much more waft into the traveler's sensories, causing the mouth to water and the stomach to growl. Most sink beneath the wave of wine on their way to the island, but the ones who get there are met with the most wonderful meals they have ever tasted. Each bite is better than anything they have ever experienced, and every mouthful tastes better than the last. The food will quickly drive one into a frenzy of pleasure, causing you to shovel food into your mouth, never stopping to notice some of it is the remains of previous victims. Soon enough, so consumed by gluttony, so much food is eaten that one will collapse into the feast, too heavy to move, awaiting to be the next meal. Now we pass through the circle of carnality, perhaps the most lethal of circles for mortals, as what better way to tempt a human than with their own internal instincts? The corruption of the desire to reproduce is paramount here, and is perhaps the easiest way to fall to Slaanesh. This ring is full of visions and senses of pure ecstasy, overloading the individual with pleasures as it taps into their deepest desires of the flesh. It is lined with wonderful fields of grass with an inviting golden hue. As one passes through, they will encounter many vistas. Each vista holds pleasure and temptations, growing stronger and stronger with each one. Demons and mortals lie intertwined, eventually becoming one. These are near impossible to gaze upon without being drawn in by their beauty. The sounds and sights of pleasure tempt most, but there is also an intoxicating musk amidst the air. This musk heightens one's senses even further, causing everything to feel ever more amazing to the flesh. Incense triggers memories of lustful and passionate encounters of one's past. This makes the individual easy prey to the demonettes frolicking the fields, things of beauty and perfection with wonderfully smooth, soft flesh. But under these disguises are snapping claws and razor-filled teeth. All who accept the embrace of these demons meet an agonizing and blissful death. Now we venture through the fourth circle, the circle of Paramountcy. This place holds a unique experience for each ongoer, but overall it tempts one with that of adoration and fame. The individual is met with adoring crowds and individuals mulling over the one passing through. For a soldier perhaps, they are worshipping him on his achievements of glory. A governor may see absolute control over what he has always wanted, and a friendless lowlife may simply see groups of people finally giving him the respect he feels he deserves. Many get lost within these dreams of pride, for they seem so real. Unlike the other circles before this realm, this one holds some grasp of reality, for any soldier has seen a general brought up to great honors, or any man has seen stars adored by their fans. Yet if one is able to realize the false reality before them, they will break free to reveal a plain of ash and soot piled with millions of skeletons, all trapped in their vain realities. This vision flashes by in an instant, and we find ourselves in the next circle, the circle of Vainglory. In this circle we see a beautiful vast forest home to many glades. Along this winding path one is left to their thoughts. Within each glade is an inviting crystal clear pool of water. If one is to sit, they will reflect upon their thoughts of self, gazing into the reflection of water. As one is lost in thoughts of pride and glory, they will fail to notice the undergrowth and vines of the glade begin to gently wrap around him. As the ensnared continues in thought, eyes closed, the waters rise up and take the shape of something that represents the dreamer. At this, the unfortunate opens their eyes and is met with a vision of pure shame and defeat, feeling nothing but despair as the vines tighten and end their life. Now we arrive at the final circle, the circle of Indolence. We find ourselves on an endless beach, the sound of waves lapping at the walls of one's mind. This circle sends crushing forces of rest and relaxation, tempting the traveler to finally take a moment of rest at their end of their long journey. Wonderful resting places lie among this beautiful place of peace. The sound of rest fills the ears and heavies the eyes of the weary traveler. Soothing music weaves through the perfumed air, and all past struggle is forgotten. This is the perfect place to finally settle down, to retire from the so many hardships of life. Servants begin to remove armor and the heavy burdens one carries, and others come to massage the traveler with silky smooth hands. None but the strongest of wills can make it through this final circle. Determination and resolve gathers up one's belongings, and pure strength keeps one's eyes open and legs moving. This is the last and final test before the desired destination. We find ourselves arriving at the Palace of Slaanesh. Here there are no guards, no wardens or eternal defenders, no walls or battlements, naught but beautiful statues and wondrous trees lie here. Unholy choirs sing here, singing the music of angels as Slaanesh approaches from her palace. The moment one gazes upon this perfect, beautiful being, they are lost. No matter how strong or fervent one is, all is given up at the sight of the Prince of Pleasure. Defenses are lowered and the soul is given freely, without a finger lifted.